Claude Code broke 23 bad commits before they hit main last month, and I didn't see a single one. You know that feeling when you open Claude Code, ask for a function and move on with your day. For most people, the tool is basically fancy autocomplete. But there's a whole layer underneath with skills, hooks and subagents that nobody talks about. By the end of this video, you'll have Claude Code catching bugs before you even see them. So here's what we're building today. We're covering 3 features that most people don't know actually exist. Custom skills are markdown files that teach Claude Code your project's conventions. Quality gate hooks run before every commit and then handle your linter, your type checkers and your tests. If anything fails, nothing is shipped. And parallel subagent let you spin up multiple Claude Code instances that work on different tasks at the same time. Here is how it actually flows. Your CLAUDE.md file is the brain of the whole setup. It tells Claude which skills to load and which hooks to enforce. Skills live in a .claude folder as markdown files, and hooks are just bash scripts triggered by events. Subagents spin up from your main instance and each one gets its own isolated context. That's all you need to know. Let's just build it and you'll see. So first, let's get the project structure right. Claude Code looks for a .claude directory at your project root. Inside that, we need 3 folders, one for skills, one for hook scripts and one for our custom subagents. We are also installing ruff since our quality gate is going to use it for Python linting. Alright, let's start by creating the Claude.md file. This is the brain of the whole setup. Claude reads this file at the start of every session, so anything you put here becomes part of the rules. Notice that we're not just listing conventions. The file also tells Claude when to use which feature. Take that one about the code reviewer subagent. It tells Claude to delegate refactors instead of doing them inline. The key detail here is that you reference your skills and agents by name and Claude figures out the rest. Now for the skills, they live inside a subfolder. And inside that subfolder, you need to have the skill.md file. The name and the description are how Claude decides when to load the skill, so read the description carefully. If it's vague, Claude might load the wrong skill or skip it entirely. The body is just markdown. Whatever you put here becomes the instructions Claude follows when the skill is active. So instead of repeating these rules in every prompt, you write them once and Claude pulls them in automatically. Next, inside the .claude folder, we create a new file called settings.json. This settings.json file is how we wire up the hook. The matcher tells Claude which tool calls trigger the hook. We're matching edit, write and multi-edit, so anytime Claude touches a file, our script runs. PostToolUse means it runs after the edit, which is what we want for quality checks. If the script exits with a non-zero code, Claude sees the failure and has to fix it before moving on. That is the actual gate. Without a clean exit, Claude doesn't progress. Next, inside the hooks subfolder, we create qualitygate.py. This script is actually what enforces the rules. Claude pipes a JSON payload to standard input every time the hook fires, and we pull the file path from that. If the file isn't Python, we exit 0 and skip, otherwise we run ruff against it. The key detail here is exit code 2. That is the magic number for hooks. Anything that exits 0 passes silently. Exit 2 blocks the action and tells Claude what went wrong. Whatever we print gets fed back to Claude, so it knows exactly what to fix. And the final piece is the Claude reviewer.md inside the agent subfolder. This file defines a separate Claude instance that runs in its own context. Notice the tool list. Subagents only get the tools you give them, so this reviewer can read files and run git diff, but it cannot edit anything. This is intentional. We want it to review and not modify. The body is just the system prompt for this agent. When Claude delegates to it, this is the only context it gets, plus whatever you pass in the prompt. Data isolation is what makes parallel subagents useful. Each one stays focused on its job without polluting your main session. Alright, it's time to see how it works. Let's start Claude Code in our project folder. Let's ask it to add a function to user.py that validates email addresses and then use the code reviewer subagent to check it. As you can see, the agent started editing our user.py, but it found several issues. It analyzed the code and suggested some improvements. Let's just approve and see what happens. Here you can review the changes that were made by the agent. Let's just approve them. You can see that it's now asking us to run the ruff check, so it can validate the user.py file. Let's see it. Great, the ruff check passed and now it wants us to save the file. Let's allow it. After passing the ruff check, it started executing the tests, but it found out that PyTest was missing and so the agent installed it. And as you can see, it also passed 13 out of 13 tests. So now you have a Claude Code setup that actually understands your project. Custom skills mean it follows your conventions instead of guessing every single time. Quality gate hooks catch bugs before they ship, so broken code never makes it to the main branch. And parallel subagents let you offload the boring work. Bug triage, refactoring and doc updates can all run at the same time while you focus on the real stuff. For your next step, try pointing your hooks at your actual CI checks. Spin up a subagent for something you have been putting off. And if you want more Claude Code workflow content like this, hit subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.